one, blast off. Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog, and we got an incredible show for you today. Maybe the best show in decades. Who knows? But I'm telling you right, I got Bobbie Heron, Bee's Knees Marketing Agency, the BDC diva. They can't see you. Stop waving.
I like to just wave anyway.
They can't see. It's just me right now. Okay. Before I get started with the broadcast, of course, I have to do a little housekeeping. So I'll try to entertain you with an interlude while I do a little. I'm going to make the broadcast public, and I'm going to put it on some other social sites. It takes me about a minute and a half. Just be patient. Oh, I could hide beneath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring, but it rings and I rise, wipe the sleep out from my eyes. Never seen so many people wanting to be by your side. But when you turned to me and smiled, you took my breath away. And I've never seen that dress you're wearing or those highlights in your hair that catch your eyes. I have been blind. Lady in red is dancing with me. Nobody knows. It's just
I love it.
I hardly know. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm a problem solver. You see this?
That was a lot of background noise in that restaurant. People talking, and I'm here. Bobbie in the parking lot. Lady in red is dancing with me.
You know what's so weird is that restaurant has nobody in it except for the person that I was eating lunch with, and that's it, other than 2 employees. So
those employees were talking very loud in the background. Okay, let's okay.
All right.
Okay. We improvised. I love you. You are so good at what you do. Improvise on the spot. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobbie Heron outside in the fresh air. Tell me about now. A BDC, a business development center,
yes.
Business communication center. What are the biggest challenges when you put one in a dealership, when you have to maintain one? See, putting one in is a piece of cake.
Right.
A monkey with a note in his mouth can install a BDC. Yep. Keeping it running.
That's a different story.
Yeah, because all the years I've consulted dealerships, there are a certain number of mutineers in every dealership.
Oh, yeah.
And the mutineers are all, they even find out your flight schedule. They know when you're leaving. Boy, that damn Ziegler's out of here Friday. We're going to go back to the crap we used to do.
It.
You know?
Well, that's part of it, right? Is that one of the differences, I think, and again, I can only speak for how I do things. And so when I say stuff, I always want people to know I'm not attesting to anybody else, but I'll tell you, I learned a long time ago that the only way that you can have real accountability is if you're present and if it's structured. And so when we work with a BDC or a sales team or operations team, we have phone calls scheduled every other week for an hour. So if I come in and work with a BDC team.
Okay, so you have repeat phone calls. When you're working with a BDC, they got to report to you. You're looking at their stats.
Not only do they have to report to me, the dealer principal and the owner are required to be on the call as well. And so if I come into a store, if I come into a store and I train a store, I put in a BDC, I put in a sales team, or we come in to do training, we're going to have a 3-month window of time together where every other week we're getting on a call for an hour and we're looking at real things, because what I provide is accountability.
Okay.
And that can't happen if I just drop and run. And so that's why I only take unlimited clients, because it has to be that way. And for an owner and a GM, they have to be on the call, because you can't inspect what you expect if you're not present.
Okay, so you're one of those rare consultants, one of those rare people that, number one, when you go in a dealership, you actually do it.
Yes.
I mean, you will pick up the phone and actually
100%.
Talk to a consumer?
100% of the time. When I come into the dealership, one of the things I tell everybody, so we offer a lot of different services, but one of them is training between communication and sourcing. So it ends up being your CRM, everything. We split the sales and the BDC team and the managers into a team A and a team B, so you have floor coverage. And then everybody is expected to attend both the in-classroom training and the live on the floor training. So we do 2 days of training.
Whoa.
And then we're live on the floor together.
In classroom and live on the floor.
Yep, live on the floor. And it's one of the biggest problems that I guess what I should say is one of the biggest opportunities for improvement in any department, but specifically with BDC, is that people hire for a BDC the way they hire for a sales team. They staff them at the same time the dealership is open, which is often not the right time. The CRM will tell you, but the majority of the time, about 40% of your leads come in after hours. They hire the same type of people that they would hire for the sales floor, but those aren't the people you're looking for.
No,
you're looking for people. No, you need somebody who can handle repetitive rejection, is detail oriented, and is open to learning, not bouncing around. The hiring and the training is very different. Once they get in there, most dealerships go, and it's not their fault, right? They hire them and they go, we're going to train them on how we train salespeople. Totally different position. So the skill set required to train those teams doesn't exist inside of the dealership.
It's not the same people that came off the sales floor.
Correct.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you one of my Ziegler secrets. You want one?
Of course I want one.
You know the best profile that I hire for BDC and I'm not a BDC expert, but I do sometimes find myself consulting dealers as the best profile is retired airlines, flight attendants, and reservations.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And we actually advertise airline reservation, flight attendant experience preferred.
I haven't considered that. I like to hire from places like Macy's and Nordstrom's because I like to hire people from perfume counters and makeup counters who do nothing but get rejected all day, already work terrible hours and work on commission and don't give up.
Well, what about reservationists with, say, Delta Airlines that are used to working off hours, been highly trained in phone skills and personality skills, and are generally, and not being sexist in any way, are generally middle-aged women?
It's not sexist. It's, here's the thing. Women are very detail oriented. And here's the other part. This is going to sound a little sexist, but this is the truth. Men are raised to be polite to women, not necessarily to other men. You can have the same person call twice. You can have a man and a woman call, and one person will get hung up on and one will not. I'm not saying don't hire men in the position by any means, but it's true that it does work out a little better.
Hey, Charles Cannon just showed up, one of my favorite people.
Ah,
You know Charles?
I do know Charles.
He's coming to Battle Plan.
Oh, that's great news.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody should be coming to Battle Plan. What are you guys thinking?
Hey, everybody, do me a favor. If you're watching this broadcast, share it with somebody on your page. Everybody hit the share button right now and share this broadcast all over the internet.
Yes, please do.
The Alpha Dog, Bobbie Heron, the BDC Diva. I named you that now.
I know. I've been likening it.
Well, I did use Elise Kephart when I first named her the YouTube Diva.
I love it. I bought BDC Badass as a option because I liked it so much.
BDC Badass. I love it.
That's right.
So anyway, how many outbound calls should a BDC rep make a day?
So we try to stick with the law of 100, right? 100 doesn't necessarily make it the right number. That's just where you start, because what really matters is once you have somebody that's working on your team, almost immediately you want to be able to gauge what is the quality of the conversation and what is the outcome. Some people will get on the phone and they're so charming and they're so good that it'll take them 10 minutes to set an appointment versus one, and their show rate will be triple the amount. And with a person like that, if you're coaching them properly and you're looking at their numbers, you can find that 50 calls equates to the same as 100 with a higher show ratio. But we start with the law of averages. So we start with 100 and we go with the law of 50. You're going to make 100 calls. You're going to get a hold of 50 people. Of the 50 you get a hold of, 25 are going to set an appointment. Of the 25, 12 and a half are going to show. Of the 12 and a half that show, 6 are going to sell. That doesn't make it law, but it's just where we start.
Okay, now me personally, I have been called the one-man BDC.
You're pretty good at it.
I will make 100 outbounds a day. Now I'm sitting there with my little earplugs in, and I've got my microphone instead of a telephone. And I start at 4 o'clock in the morning planning my day. Mm-hmm. Everybody says, well, how come you're up at 4? Because I'm in bed at 8. Yep. So 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm up, I'm planning a day. 9 o'clock, I'm in the starting blocks. Somebody shoots the pistol and I start making calls.
You texted me the other day at 4 a.m. and I went, I'm just headed to bed. I'll call you later.
So here I am, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm planning it. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, I start making calls. And at 10 o'clock at night, in the old days, I'd be making calls to Hawaii, right across the time.
Oh, dang.
But I'm not quite as energetic as that these days. But See, when you make 100 outbounds a day, that's 100 conversations. That's not 100 left messages.
Right.
I mean,
so you got to make, I mean, for you've got a great connection rate, right? People want to talk to you. You're a problem solver. You're somebody that collaborates and mentors and trains our industry. And in a BDC where they really struggle is every time they're making a phone call, it's the just get them in mentality. Oh, I'm calling to get an appointment. I'm calling to just get them in, instead of I'm calling to solve a problem for a person that I have the solution for. And once you get into that mindset and you start to think about it, connections become easier, because it's not, what should I leave in a voicemail? What should I say on the phone? What do you mean, what should you say? Talk to them like they're your neighbor or your friend or your Aunt June at Thanksgiving. Because the minute you start doing that, you set yourself apart from your competitors, and those become true connections and conversations, and not just, a telephone call or a text.
People don't know how to sound excited in their voice.
Right.
Man, I'm glad. Bobbie, how you doing? I'm so glad to hear from you. Hey, Bobbie, this is Jim Ziegler at ABC Motors. Hey, listen, I got a good story for you. Just they don't know how to put that excitement in their voice. I'm glad to be talking to you.
Right. I'm not following a word track. I'm not just saying something. And
it's not.
And look, the crazy thing is, who trains these BDCs most of the time? Nobody, or the desk. And look, the desk is good at what the desk is good at, which does not include oftentimes communication skills. It doesn't include knowing that when a customer goes to your website and they fill in a trade-in form, that nowhere on that trade-in form does it say somebody's going to call them. Not even at the end. And then we go, oh, it's a terrible lead source. The lead sources are terrible. Well, first of all, they're not a lead, they're a person. And second of all, you didn't acknowledge anything they needed. The problem they were trying to solve was to get an accurate figure on something they couldn't otherwise find online other than a guess. All you have to say to that customer is, Miss Jones, so you used a piece of information on our website that we provided for customers who are educated and who are researching. The next step for most people is this.
One question.
Yeah.
And I sort of learned this from Frank Cronetti. One question. Yeah. What didn't you like about your experience with the other dealership?
Right.
What didn't you like about the car? That is such a strong, it eliminates so many objections later, and it stops you from going down the wrong path. And if every time you call somebody, now let's talk about be-back phone calls. I mean, we've already talked to the people. This isn't an initial call on a lead. It's a be-back. Maybe it's a equity mining call. Don't always call the people with your agenda. Never with your own agenda. What's in it for them before what's in it for you? And so many people don't get that. When I talk to people on the phone, I diary my conversations, which people should be using their CRM to diary every conversation.
Yep. That's the difference, right? In a real communicator, somebody that does really well with other people. I don't care what you sell in life, whether it's tangible or intangible, you're selling an experience, because anybody can sell that same product. And the truth of the matter is, if you just ask people what they're trying to accomplish and then you shut up and listen, they'll tell you. Got to listen, not to reply. And we lack that. I tell people, if you want to prospect and you want a guerrilla prospect, look at your competitor's Facebook page at their reviews. Find the reviews for your competitor's Facebook page and people complaining about the bad experience and call them up. It's a good way to find stuff other than cold calling. I do it quite often with my own competitors. But you're right. You get a prospecting call or anything, you just have to ask people what they want to accomplish and then help them solve it. People will do anything if you ask them to. We were raised to be polite people in general.
They will. People, I have always, when I taught Carnegie 40 years ago or longer, 45. And when I taught Carnegie, one of the things was there's always something likable about everybody.
Right.
You just got to find what's likable about them and don't react to the unlikable.
Right. Silver linings. You find what you look for in any situation.
I can find something likable about everybody, and I think that way. And one of my managers was Don Jenkins, who now owns the Don Jenkins dealerships in Central Florida. Now, kind of funny, Don worked for me, I worked for him. It was, I've known him for 43 years. Don Jenkins used to say, before I get mad, I always think, have I got their money yet?
Before I get mad, I always think, did you do that?
Before you get mad, stop and think, have I got their money yet?
It's crazy. I just saw Steven asked a question about texting. And I think this is so important. I'm going to talk about this at Battle Plan in depth. I spent years with the Garber Group when the texting laws changed, and countless hours in with attorneys. And so I'm a very big advocate when it comes to texting and the legal opt-ins for it. So let me say this. This is what I tell all my clients. After I tell them the law, which I'm not going to do right now, we'll talk about it in class. It is up to you to decide if the ROI is there and if it is worth it. But that being said, texting is one of the highest conversion rates. Texting with a video, even better.
Texting with a video, oh my God.
Always. I always text with videos, even with my friends. When I leave a client demo or a conversation with a dealer, I follow up with video every single time, no matter what. And I text back and forth with people I love that are video. And look, for most of the dealers out there, I'm your target demographic. I'm 38 years old with disposable income. I've got
you were 38 yesterday, right?
My birthday was Sunday, yeah, but I'm celebrating all month, so today too.
Oh, so, yeah, birthday girl, absolutely.
I love my birthday. But texting is the number one form of conversion. Is it how we should sell a car? No. Is it how we should talk about numbers? Absolutely not. But it's how we communicate with a customer in the way that they want to talk in a short and simple way to get them engaged enough to allow us the opportunity to get on a phone call and talk about real things in order to invite them into our dealership and help them solve a problem that they're probably experiencing everywhere else. And also, and this is what I tell customers, you've done all this research to be educated. Now it's time for us to finalize it. And this is where we're different than other dealers. And it's the same thing. So yeah, Steven, absolutely with the texting, as long as you're either following the law or aware of it so that your store can decide if it's worth the risk or not for you.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I've been in BDC before BDC was
right.
You know? And yeah, I started in the car business in 1976. And it was your CRM was basically a Rolodex and a 10-key calculator.
And you sold it when you went out. I remember my mentors on the floor selling Rolodexes for like $3,000 because you know what? They weren't Rolodexes, they were relationships. And that's where we're screwing up in the CRM. It's technology.
When I went into management, I sold my Rolodexes to a salesman named Al Westbrook, who was the top salesman at the Potamkin organization. And he paid heavily to buy my Rolodexes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was different then. You know why? Because we wrote that stuff in Rolodexes before we had that technology, and we sold off. It wasn't even selling off a relationship. It was relationships that were built and they became referrals. And now you go into a store and people are like, birthday call, I got to make that. Or, oh, it's a new person, I got to call them. And every time I just want to smack them because I think to myself, where did we stop in 20 years teaching people control and relationships and start teaching word tracks and typing skills? It's terrible. And it's not, and again, it's not judgment from me. So if you're a dealer watching, please don't think I'm judging you. It's a knowing versus a doing problem. The reason I know how to do this is because I spent 21 years in dealerships failing at it until we succeeded.
Wait a second. I just heard you say something. Do you realize what you just said?
That I failed until I succeeded?
No, you said it was a knowing problem versus a doing problem. Where did you get that from?
I learned that from you years ago.
That's one of my signature statements in a car dealership. We don't have a knowing problem. We have a doing problem. I love that I've passed that legacy on to so many people of things that I have invented and taught.
You know, that's the thing, though. I hear so many sarcastic things from trainers and people in the industry now where they say, like, you know, oh, so-and-so stole that. Like, we're supposed to educate the people that are around us. And I surround myself by design with brilliant people who educate me. Look at my friend group. You're in it. It's by design. Of course, I want to learn these things and I want to pass them on. In 10 years after you learn something, you don't always remember where you learned it. But I remember learning that sitting in an audience in front of you.
I will go to California and somebody will come up to me and say, have you ever heard this one? And I'll say, heard it? I invented it. And they'll go, yeah, sure you did. Yeah. Yeah, sure you did. I go, well, yeah, I really did.
Oh, it's crazy. I just saw that Steven said he wants to come to Battle Plan, but it'd be too hot. Like, look, Steven, there's a rainstorm out in the parking lot I'm in about maybe a block away. I am sweating because it is 110 degrees out here. But you were important enough that I walked into the parking lot to have a conversation with you. So you should come have one with us at Battle Plan. Brave the heat. We'll get you a fan.
Okay. Anthony Santangelo, I have to make a business call and he has to stop watching.
He's the best.
Oh,
He's such a great guy.
Jennifer Briggs is on the side.
She's the absolute best. That's my main chick.
Melissa Skinner, one of my friends.
Love Melissa. I just saw her yesterday.
Josh Obersian, I think that's how I pronounce his name. Josh.
It's close.
Obersian?
I always try to sound it out. Obserian. I don't know. It's the Josh, though. I know that.
Okay. Chris Walsh is there. Happy birthday, Bobbie. Hey, it's a couple days ago, slacker. Okay. William McCormick, Stephen Stassi. I love Stephen Stassi. He is a really great friend. I wish you'd come to Battle Plan. There's Briggs again, Max Clem, Lori Foster. Hello, Lori. Nathaniel Banks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, guess what? Mabel Peralta's here.
I love her. That's the Volvo girl. We love her. She's in our tribe.
Volvo. Her and I have talked about that. You know, I was with the biggest Volvo dealer in history, is where I first got secondly got some national recognition.
I did not know that.
I was with Dyer & Dyer Volvo back in the 80s.
Oh,
and we went from 40 units a month to 850 units a month in less than a year and a half.
Wow.
I wish I could say that I was the driving force that made that happen. I was one of the managers. There were 5 of us. And I don't take all the credit, but I take a great deal of the credit, you know. But we had to buy a Greyhound bus station because we couldn't build new construction fast enough.
Are you serious? I never knew that.
Yeah, Dyer & Dyer
Greyhound bus station?
We bought the bus station to have a service department big enough they could turn Greyhound buses around in it. They could certainly make a service department out of it. And we had to concrete a bridge over the creek for the parking the cars. I mean, it was amazing. That was Camelot. We were some of the biggest innovators. We had a Dyer & Dyer Volvo. We actually had sterile infant rooms with certified child care counselors to take care of your children while you shopped.
That's crazy. You know what? Since we're talking about that, I got to throw this out to you. I do this every time I go into a dealership. I see their kid room, you know, the one full of Legos and old crayons. And I think to myself, why don't you have an Xbox room? You don't have any games, so they can't get stolen. You can put the remotes at the operations station with the receptionist so you check them out with a driver's license. And your wonderful little children that everybody loves so much aren't at the desk being all up in the deal, driving their parents crazy and bouncing. And Xboxes, I mean, day after Thanksgiving, you're talking a $500 investment with the giant ass TV.
You know, I made my bones in F&I.
I didn't know that. I made my bones in F&I.
Well, F&I is where I set all the records. I mean, that's where I got famous, sort of famous. You know,
I just thought you were always famous, born that way. Born a legend.
What can I say? I was a fairly famous DJ before I was ever in the car business.
Why you're such a good communicator and you have the excited voice.
I was one of the top DJs in the country, WAPE in Jacksonville.
Show me your DJ voice.
Oh, the Big Ape. The Big Ape. Hi, clowns. Dr. X, the big-time radio celebrity at WAPE in Jacksonville. I want to thank all you insignificant little people for listening to my show. Maybe the big celebrity that I am today.
I'm going to need you to send me an autograph.
I was supposed to be an ex-wrestler turned DJ, and for years everybody thought I was a wrestler. And I was a DJ, like a bad guy wrestler.
Really?
Hi, clowns, all you insignificant little people going to your menial jobs. You know? Let's get back to BDC. We're a side subject. You and I are just too good of friends.
I know.
Okay, now, Internet Battle Plan is the 9th and 10th of September in Atlanta.
Yes.
Now, you have bought some extra tickets, haven't you?
I have 25 extra tickets.
And she paid me for them. Okay.
Yeah, I don't mess around. This is important. And I know so many people at dealerships do not get an opportunity to come, or they don't give themselves the chance to come. And like, look, guys, I could attend Digital Dealers next week. Guess who won't be there? This girl. I like to go to events that are intimate networking events with real educators because I learn while I'm there too. And you guys should join us there. It's going to be really great.
These are $700 tickets. Not that I charged you full price, but still
Thank God for that.
These are $700 tickets if anybody bought them. And you've got 25 of them.
Yes.
What phone number can they latch onto these
Yeah.
tickets?
So do me a favor and just send your name and title so that I have it, and your email address to my cell phone number. It's 989-672-9945. So 989-672-9945. And if for some reason you didn't jot that down, Google my name and it comes up everywhere. My cell phone number is public. Chelsea, can
How
you
about
please
that?
That's perfect. That's perfect.
If you will text to that number, now no vendors, only people that work in car dealerships.
Yep.
If you will text Bobbie, now she has personally paid for these tickets out of her company.
Yes, I
She
have.
has 25 of them. Don't waste our time. If you're not going to actually use the tickets and actually come, do not call her. But Bobbie is going to scholarship 25 people. Now, what do they have to text you?
So I need your name, your title, and your store and your email address. And the reason I need that is once you send it to me, I'm going to forward it over and register you. And then Jim's going to reach out to confirm your registration. So this is the easiest, most convenient, fastest way to get you registered and ready to come in. And look, Atlanta is the easiest place to fly into. It's super inexpensive. It's a major hub for Delta. Hit up Priceline. We have a great room rate on the hotel. So in addition to being at the conference, you're going to get a chance to have real networking conversations with the speakers, because this isn't some crazy conference that happens out in Vegas where you don't get time to sit down with all of us. You actually do. So definitely, if you send this to me and you're coming, I will handle it for you. And if not, I will ninja chuck you if you no-show. So keep that in mind.
Ninja chuck you, yeah.
Ninja chuck somebody.
And if you want to get in touch with Bees Knees Advertising, that is Bobbie's number.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, this woman is the queen of BDC. I mean, she's the shit. I mean, she really is.
I love it.
She really is. You don't even hear me talk like that often. She is.
I love it.
And she knows more and does more. And I've seen her actual performance. I've seen her actual results. So we're in the BDC environment. How much pushback you getting from the sales department?
Oh my gosh, a million times in the beginning, but because I believe in one team in one direction, I work with both teams. I tell every dealer, the day that I get there, your team is going to be like, ah! By the time I leave, they're going to be like, when's she coming back? Let's hang out. It works good. People like accountability and structure. And the sales team likes to
One thing I know about you is the sales department, the guys club, they ain't going to mess with you because you are one tough broad.
This is true. Takes a strong man to handle me for sure.
By the way, I'm not sexist in any way. I got more women on this platform. Guess who we got speaking? One of the featured speakers now, Lisa Copeland.
I'm so excited. Lisa is one of my favorite people to watch present.
Now, there's another tough woman.
Oh, yeah. She's not messing around.
I've also got the YouTube diva, Elise Kephart.
Elise, my love. Yeah. Love her.
And when you want to talk about somebody we all know well, Eric Gale.
Absolutely. And people know I worked on Eric Gale's team before. He taught me a lot of amazing things before leaving to join my own company. And he helped me transition out of that as well. So a lot of respect. And the stuff he's going to talk about is awesome. I'm familiar with the presentation, and it's great for dealer owners, for GMs, GSMs. You're going to love it. Yeah. We've got such a good lineup.
He's the CEO of the Cardinelli Group, that is the #1 internet group of dealerships selling more cars on the internet than any group in the world, the universe.
I'd hate to say it, but I started with them and they were #2, and then they're #1 now. Jennifer and I were with them along with. I mean, go back to the announcement that I made when I switched my company that Eric commandeered, that said the #1 company that I was consulting for when I started the company was the Cardinelli Group. And Jennifer, Ashley, and I were together doing that.
Internet group in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Lopes is speaking.
I love Frank Lopes.
One thing about Lopes is speaking almost every conference. He's turned into an MC. He's the Bob Barker of the car business.
He's so inspiring, though. You know what I love about watching Frank Lopes speak is not only is he engaging and is his content educational and immediately implementable, it's inspiring. Frank will inspire you to actually leave the conference and go back and do all the things that you learned, and I love that.
Wow. I hope everybody's sharing this broadcast with your
Oh, Jennifer says they were number 5 when we started. Yes, that's my detail taskmaster right there.
Hit the share button right now while you're thinking about it. Hit the share button. It's right there.
Yes,
anyway,
please do.
We've got Christian Jorn from Remora. SEO. Got SEO? We got a lot of SEO. Now, SEO is the game today. Search engine optimization, search engine marketing. If you know the lead providers, I've only got one lead provider on the program, TrueCar. That's Carrie Wise, another woman.
A killer woman. I'm on the board of Women in Automotive with all these amazing women. So, I mean, not that anybody would ever think you didn't have great taste because you're married to Miss Debbie and she's amazing, but obviously you have great taste because look at all these speakers.
I hear people complaining about TrueCar, but let me tell you something. TrueCar, you don't pay for it unless it's sold. You know? I mean,
TrueCar is one of my favorite lead sources, Jim, and dealers always shake their head when I say this. Here's why. A USAA opportunity from TrueCar is not a lead. It's a referral. And the reason that you're not converting it in your store is because you're treating it like a lead, not a referral, not master, not sergeant, not captain, not thank you for trusting us. USAA is one of the most trusted sources for military families in the United States. And we get a lead from them and we talk to them like there's some person up the street instead of transferring the referral the way that it should be handled, which is within a thank you. USA told them to call us, basically. That's how that whole transfer works. And we forget they're a referral, and instead we treat them like a lead. And that, my friends, is why it doesn't convert. Otherwise, you'd be killing it with those.
Carrie Wise.
Yeah.
We've got, let me think who, golly, Overtake Digital, Chris Hill.
Oh, I love me some Chris Hill. Yeah.
Chris got a new Supra. I am jealous. I mean, he has the fastest GTR in the world. Now he went and got a Supra, and Toyota sort of helping him make it faster.
You know, Chris Hill and I became friends before Chris Hill owned a marketing company. When Chris Hill was a dealer who was frustrated with vendors and how they treated us and the skeletons that lived in the closet. And I do not publicly endorse very many vendor partnerships ever, but I will tell you, in the experience I've always had with Chris Hill, with my own clients who worked with him, and in being a dealer who worked with him, our products work like magic, and he did a great job, and so does his team. And that's the trick, right? Just like when you build a BDC, you design a team around you that you can empower and train and get out of their way. That's
absolutely magic. We got Chris Hill from Overtake Digital, Angus Fox. Now,
Frank Lopes just said, what kind of shenanigans are going on here? Frank, of course there's shenanigans. It's Jim and I.
Oh, you know Angus Fox?
I recognize the name. Can't face the face.
Fox worked with Tim Martell at Wikimotive.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's where I know the name from them.
You know, Tim Martell, you know, we have to basically put him in a straitjacket. He's absolutely unpredictable. One of my better friends. I mean, if you don't want to hear the answer, do not ask Tim, because he will say exactly what's on his mind. Tim Martell is one of the most unfiltered people when he opens his mouth that I know of besides myself.
Oh, man.
No filter there. But if Tim Martell opens his mouth, and Angus Fox is an SEO expert on his staff, and he came just recently out of the dealership world and some of the biggest dealerships in the country. He's really good. So SEO, I got 3 really strong SEO people, and they're different brands of SEO.
Well, SEO is I try to think of SEO as a real conversation. You're not buying the opportunity to talk to somebody. And not that there's anything wrong with that. There's a place for everything. But a real SEO structure and strategy implemented, and then with a team who is trained to convert it, is one of the strongest things that you can install into any dealership. I mean, social and SEO are my jam. If I bought a dealership today, I wouldn't say everything I do. I'll talk about that on stage. But social and SEO would be where I would live.
Every dealership needs to hire an agency. Every dealership. I'm telling you right now, you've got to have an agency, somebody to handle that for you. Do not rely on lead providers, because lead providers right now are presenting a lot of bogus statistics that are really not statistics at all. Remember,
Right.
Figures lie when liars are figuring.
Figure. So, Jim, it's funny.
Liars figure, figures lie.
It's funny you say that. People always say, Bobbie, what's your marketing agency? What do you guys do? Here's what we do. And because you just said that, I'll tell you, we work with dealers to pair them with the right vendor, the right fit, the right product, and the right process. Because what works for one dealer will not work for the other. We don't white label. We don't hold the support team in-house. We don't pretend to be the marketing person. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, dealers, but lots of marketing companies pretend to be the ones that are selling you the product. They're selling you somebody else's stuff with their sticker snapped on it. And that's fine. But we don't roll like that. So if you come to us for marketing, we analyze your product, your process, and your people. And from there, we find you the best fit for all three of those things. Because you can spend money on anything and think it'll work, and it can generate thousands of opportunities. But if they don't turn into sales, it doesn't really matter. So that's how our marketing works. So when you look at an agency, that's what we do. We pair people with the right people, and then we make sure that there are no skeletons in the closet and that you're taken care of. Likewise, we also make sure for the vendor that you're not slacking off and not converting anything because you're not holding your people accountable or because you have the wrong process. So we're like a matchmaker. We're like an automotive matchmaker is what we are when it comes to our marketing.
An automotive matchmaker. Now.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Bobbie Hare in the car Yenta.
Yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Oh, God, that is hilarious. But yeah, the thing is, right now, SEO is the key. The website is the showroom. Google is the weapon. And you've got to come in under the radar screen. I was talking to that dealer we talked about earlier today. Yeah. I told her you've got some major metropolitan markets around you.
Yep.
And you can come in under the radar screen and take business without, they won't even know what hit them.
You got to get away from that word track, that script stuff, right? Even when you hire somebody for SEO, that's why we have to hire professionals, because we always want to write like automotive people. But imagine, just take this, guys. If you're a store that specializes in special finance, do yourself a solid. Ask your customers a couple of questions about why they decided they were special finance or why they thought they needed it, or do a Google search, and then create a page on your website that's a frequently asked questions page, and write out the question and answer it. Not in a grammatically correct, perfect way, in the way that people talk. And right below it, put a little call to action just to send in the form or to have a customized conversation with you. That's SEO. That's a conversation that works.
Absolutely. SEO, SEM, we got experts on this. Oh, get this. I had an interview with a woman that you need to know.
Oh, tell me about her.
Did you see the interview I had with MC Watson?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Wasn't she good?
Oh yeah, she was good.
She's from Automotive Mastermind. Dealers are raving about her. Not just because she's a young woman, they're actually enthralled with her knowledge and her ability. I mean, every dealer that she goes into is trying to hire her on staff. I mean, she needs to be in your Women in Automotive. She needs to Automotive Mastermind. She's going to talk about data mining, equity mining, which are two different things. I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of people think, well, equity mining is data mining. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No. Automotive Mastermind. That is one heck of a great company. They're sponsoring She's Speaking. I mean, who have we left out? I'm trying to think. I don't want to leave anybody out.
We have so many great speakers. I'd have to look at I'm afraid if I switch pages for any reason, I'll lose you guys. I keep wandering the parking lot when I hear a car back in or out. Okay. Jennifer, I do know that.
Right now, going to the Internet Battle Plan website, and I'll tell you who the speakers are. If I've left anybody out, I'm ashamed of myself because, these are all my friends. Oh my gosh. I've left out 2 or 3 of the most important ones. Mike Cavanaugh, Max Digital, one of my new best friends. What am I thinking about? Mike Cavanaugh is going to speak about how to hold gross profit in an online world.
Yeah, good communication. I'm excited to see that.
Gross profit in an online world. Mike Cavanaugh, Max Digital. And now here it comes. Phone skills. Anthony Alagona.
Oh yeah. You know what I want to see? Anthony Alagona and Elise were talking online for a while about going head to head in a phone competition. I want to see that happen. I know for whatever reason it didn't end up working out, but so I'm excited. They're both presenting. So what a great way to see both strategies.
That's two different styles.
Right.
And both of them thinks their style is the best and the only style. I'm going to tell you what, just interesting to hear. That's what I love. I got 3 SEO speakers, and all 3 of the SEO speakers are taking it a different direction.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we got 2 dealer teamwork speakers.
You know, that's the thing though. You can watch an educator, 2 educators on the same subject, and in an audience of people, somebody is going to learn the most from one and the most from the other. And the truth is we all have our own opinion and none of us are right. So you have to take what you learn from everybody and incorporate it into your own personality set and skill, and then go back and implement it. And that's when you're going to get with multiple speakers that way.
Do you know Eric Milch?
I love Eric Milch. He is one of my mentors, first friends, and he was a consultant for Garber while I worked there. So he is a great friend of mine and a brilliant man, and he's taught me a lot.
I have asked Eric, and Eric is a personal friend of mine. Eric doesn't particularly care whether he speaks at an internet event. He's a wealthy guy. People wouldn't know it, but you know, he's one of the founding partners of Dealer Teamwork. I requested Eric to speak at this event. And what I want Eric to speak on is not dealer teamwork, not SEO, not MPOP. I want Eric to speak about how to build a used car empire.
He's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Know that. He's a dealer too and has been for years.
Eric is one of the founders of Auction Direct, which was at one time the largest independent car dealer in the world.
Yep.
1,000 units a month. I'm telling you, Eric.
Absolutely.
And he did it all with the internet when the internet was growing.
And Eric is genuine. He is one of those people that if you sit down and ask Eric, hey, can I have a conversation with you? So say Eric's speaking at Battle Plan and you're like, hey, can I have dinner with you or a drink with you and talk to you? Eric will share his brilliance with somebody with no end game, just because it's the right thing to do and will help people learn. And he's brilliant. I love that man very much.
I'll show you how good a friend Eric is with me. You know, Eric is a Corvette guy.
I've drove his cars.
Yeah, he's a Corvette guy. He loves Corvettes, owns them. So I had 7 Corvettes since 2000. The president of General Motors is building me a new Corvette every couple years, having a name and a plaque on the dash. I was driving Escalades and Corvettes. I had 9 Escalades and 7 Corvettes simultaneously.
Dang.
Okay, so I have my knees operated on, and I can't get in and out of the Escalades, and I can't get in and out of the Corvettes anymore.
Oh, so that's hard.
Debbie had bought me for Christmas a beautiful Corvette jacket, leather, 3-color, $600 jacket.
Love that.
Oh, just the most wonderful leather Corvette insignia. It was red and black, just incredible. I didn't wear it once. I gave it to Eric.
I was there. We were at
Detroit Battle Plan.
Yeah.
Remember, I gave him that Detroit Battle Plan. I gave him that jacket.
I do remember that. That is a solid friendship.
And that was so cherished an item to me. I gave it to him. That's how good a friend Eric is.
Tiffany necklaces or anything laying around? You just want to, I'll send you a list. Or...
I got a little gold.
I joke.
One of these days, I got to get you to come over and stay at our home. And if we can talk Miss Debbie into opening the safe and showing you her jewelry.
Oh, man. I can just imagine. I would love to come over and stay and hang out with you guys. I told you, Miss Debbie's got to teach me how to shoot. I'm getting this together.
Well, I generally have a weapon close by wherever I'm at, It just
right. Just so happens.
Always close,
It's like a hot spot.
It's amazing. You saw me and Zach went shooting the guns the other day. I bought a new Glock while I was there.
That's what you were saying, yeah? Because I called you after the break-in, our potential break-in at my house, freaking out. So now I got to learn how to shoot.
You had a break-in and you freaked out.
Yes, and my my boyfriend is insisting on teaching me how to shoot, and I am insisting on having Miss Debbie teach me since she's such a good shot.
My wife is certified, pistol certified. Dirty Debbie, we call her, just like Dirty Harry. Mess with my wife, and she will blow you away.
I love that about your wife. She's the epitome of a strong woman. She's kind and gentle and fierce all at the same time. And I have to say, she makes you the best version of yourself. You're a lucky man.
I love my wife dearly. Picked her up hitchhiking 35 years ago.
You did not.
Her car broke down on her way to her job at Hooters.
I'm telling her you said that. That's it.
Yeah. Well, we got Sean Stapleton speaking.
Oh, I love Sean.
So I got Sean and Eric from Dealer Teamwork.
Do you know Sean Stapleton launched my career on the vendor side? He actually was one of my vendors and a partner and did a lot for me, and he pushed me into the spotlight when I didn't want to. And it was the result of that was my very first article, followed by the 40 Under 40 award not long after.
And here finally, Steve Lores is speaking from Call Review.
Oh, he is? I didn't know that.
A lot of things you don't know.
Yeah, I missed that on the site.
Well, Steve Lores, I knew him when he was with the Mike Leap organization in Indiana, where Notre Dame is. What city is that? I'm trying to think. Where Notre Dame is. Anyway.
Somewhere, wherever that is. You guys Google it.
Let me talk about your marketing plan. And Call Review is one of my favorite. If you want to know what's going on the phones, Call Review is the only company to choose.
Oh, I'm a fan for sure. I like the integration.
Stephen Lores, he's speaking. So we've got 20 of the top experts in the country, and you notice they're speaking on every aspect of internet sales and marketing.
Yep. I think sometimes I've actually had people say to me and stuff like, well, what's the best conferences to go to? We start to talk about it, and they go, well, Internet Battle Plan, that's just internet, right? And I say, hold on a minute. Everything is just internet these days. Everything is digital and internet these days, no matter what. And no, it encompasses everything. I mean, we have speakers talking about how to hold growth. We have people talking about how to close, phone skills, building great teams. It's not just about internet, it's about operation.
Well, last time I spoke about 20 things a general manager should do every week.
Yep.
That has been one of my incredibly well-received speeches.
Yeah.
I have not yet decided which subject I'm going to speak on.
Oh.
I might just spring it as a surprise. I wrote an article for Auto Dealer Today magazine, 20 things a general manager should do every week. That is the most read article in history for that magazine.
No kidding.
No kidding. Look at the hits on it. It's incredible. And I still get people calling me up, Jim, I read that article every week. Because, a lot of people are sales trainers.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've never been a manager.
That's right.
I am one of the very few sales trainers, management trainers, general manager trainers, dealer trainers in the world, because I'm one of the few that's qualified to teach that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I see people go in and train on stuff and they haven't experienced the other part of it. And how do you build something if you don't know how to empathize or understand what it affects? That's the key to buy-in. And people are like, Bobbie, how do you do so well with buy-in? That's why. You don't have to love me. My job's not to make you feel good. My job's to make money. You'll love me in the end because I'm charming. But outside of that, it's the buy-in and it's understanding the other departments. And I was lucky early in my career. I worked for Sonic Automotive for many, many years. And one of the things that they made us do was work in all the departments to learn them before we moved into stuff.
Exactly. When I was a manager, I wanted my managers to cross-train.
Absolutely.
I mean, I wanted the used car manager to do F&I at least a month a year.
Why not? Why? Knowledge is power. Used to be, you remember 20, 30 years ago in the business, people used to say, don't teach them how to do your job. Absolutely teach them how to do your job so they can take it and you can do the next one.
Hey, Frank Lopes just made a statement that most of my predictions have come true. That's amazing because, through the years, people think of me in a lot of ways, but they don't realize I'm a future forecaster.
Well, I mean, I do because most of what you tell me to do, I do, and then it works out exactly like you say it's going to.
I have gone against the grain so many times when everybody else is saying this was going to happen. I said, nope. Like I said, Saturn is going to crash. Oh, no, Saturn's the future. No, Saturn is going to crash.
Saturn is not the future.
And, and I used to do speeches about that. I said, I told my son, don't do anything that John Wayne wouldn't do. And John Wayne would never disrespect a woman. John Wayne would never back down from a fight. And he sure as hell wouldn't have driven a Saturn View.
I never thought of it that way. That's
Here's John Wayne stepping out of his Saturn.
I see Adam Aarons is on here too. Adam is one of my favorite people in the whole world. I met him not that long ago, and he is, I'll tell you, a brilliant man and a great, kind, genuine person. He lumps right in there with like you and Frank, and just awesome.
Now, Frank thinks I should speak on what I see happening in the automotive business in the next 24 months.
I like that topic a lot, actually.
I have a speech I've done. I have been the keynote speaker at 98 state dealer conventions.
I knew it was a lot. I didn't know it was 98.
98. And people say, well, they're not 98 states. I've done Texas 4 or 5 times, Massachusetts 4 or 5 times,
and people in their opinion.
New York I've done 4 or 5 times, but I've been the keynote, the keynote, not just a speaker, but the opening keynote speaker for 98 dealer conventions, state dealer conventions. And I've also been a workshop speaker at NADA 17 times.
Wow.
And that's 14 incredible. Of those were top 10 speakers. And I had the biggest crowd ever at an NADA workshop.
Really?
Ask Joe Webb. You know Joe Webb.
Oh, yeah. Joe Webb's
it was
great.
funny.
Hilarious.
It was 40 minutes before I was ready to speak. And the people, they had my room set for 400 people. And people were sitting on the floor against the walls.
Wow.
They opened up the air walls and went into a second room. And I had over 600 attendees at an NADA workshop.
That's awesome.
Joe Webb stood up and did a panoramic video of the crowd. And
awesome.
me and Joe have been looking for that video ever since he made it. I think I've got it somewhere, but I mean, it was the biggest crowd ever at an NADA convention. I was the highest rated speaker in the conventions. And I told the NADA 6 years ago I was never going to speak again.
I remember that.
NADA freaked out. You're not going to speak at the convention? Nobody fires us.
I remember that. Yeah, nobody fires us, except that you can't speak about anything you want ever with them. Pardon me, glasses are fogged. It's literally like 120 degrees out here. So as you guys are watching this,
you're sweating and sweltering.
You know what? I'm committed to this. Also, you've noticed I'm not smoking.
Wait a second. You quit smoking?
Yeah. So I quit with.
How long ago? How long ago?
Okay. Well, so I fell off the wagon not long ago. But the important thing about failure is accepting it and getting right back on. So I was 7 days clear along with Elise. We were doing it together. That whole breaking and entering thing happened. I smoked some cigarettes. It was not good. And then I stopped for a day and a half, and then I smoked another cigarette. So I'm clean again. But
talk to Miss Debbie about how I quit. I smoked 20 years from 1966 to 1986. And
wow.
It took me, and I was smoking 2.5 packs a day of long Winstons.
Oh my God.
Nasty cigarettes.
That's
it took me 4 or 5 times to quit. I mean,
yeah, that's serious.
And I kept getting back on. As soon as you fall off, you get right back on if you fall off.
Yeah, you have to, right? This isn't like a cupcake diet. People go on, this is the same thing we talk about in dealerships. People go on diets or they do something in dealership and they change it and then they go, well, I'll start again on Monday. Just start again right now.
Well, let me tell you, there's 2 things that made me quit. I had a video that somebody did, and I was smoking on the podium teaching an F&I seminar. I was in front of the room smoking. And the second thing, my brother-in-law, my wife's sister's husband, is a plastic surgeon. And he said, Jim, everybody that smokes die because they smoke. He said, there's a lot of different ways to die, but if you smoke, you will die because you smoke.
It's just bad, and everybody has their own reason. And I don't know that anyone is more important than the other, but I don't want to be kissing a non-smoker tasting like I'm smoking. So that's what's happening here. But
Smokers
I'm working on
are the lepers of today. I mean, you know, and I know that you have snuck around smoking because you didn't want to be ridiculed for smoking. You have hidden out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're the
Hardcore.
leper of today when you smoke.
Hardcore. And I decided when I fell off, I could just pretend like it wasn't a thing, or I could tell the entire world on a broadcast so that everybody else can help me be accountable for my own behavior.
You better get back to BDC a second. We're right at our time.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bobbie Heron, the BDC diva. Her company is Bee's Knees Marketing. And her phone number is all over this broadcast. In case you don't know her number, there it is, 989-672-9945. If you need your dealership to put a BDC together, this is the only call you need to make.
Thank you.
She's there for you, and she is the best. She's great. I'm telling you right now, don't hesitate. You know, well, we need to think about it. Get off your ass, make a call, write the checks. Shut up. You know.
Yeah.
Just tell you.
The program.
Yeah, I see people. Well, we're procrastinating, or we're going to build up to it, and we're going to think about it. Yeah, well, yeah, quit it. Yeah, don't be a.
Yeah, well, you're thinking about it. Your competitor is hiring us to do it.
Don't be a weak suck. Pick up the phone, and make that call. Anyway, internetbattleplan.com. General managers, dealer principals are free. The website, Briggs or somebody, Lopes, put that on the sidebar for me. www.internetbattleplan.com. Somebody put that right in the comments. www.internetbattleplan.com. And my phone number. You want to call the dog? I pick up my cell and I will answer your phone call.
You will.
Give me a call. 770-851-2803. Somebody put that on the sidebar for me. 770-851-2803. The Alpha Dog's personal phone call. I want you at Battle Plan. Bobbie's got 25 tickets to give away. Yeah. Text her at that number and tell her you want the tickets. Give her your name, email address, and I'll give her a little text as to why you need the tickets and that you will actually come. Don't waste our time.
You know, Jim, we should tell them too. A lot of people, I think, wait till the last minute to sign up for stuff to figure it out. We sold out at your last event twice. So guys, don't wait. This is an event that sells out damn near every time, sometimes twice. So get in early so we can make sure that you have a spot, that catering is handled, and that everybody's in a good situation and ready to be educated and go back and put more dreams in driveways.
Guess who just showed up? Lisa Coldgrove Copeland.
I love her.
We got the whole gang on the sidebar. Susan Chow, another friend of mine, just put it up.
Perfect.
Frank's got my phone number there. Frank put it up. Susan Chow put it up.
That's right. He does. I don't. You got to text me. But
okay, Lisa just says she booked her hotel.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could talk to you forever, but you and I are just friends. We get on side subjects about smoking and Ziegler history. Yeah.
We're real. That's important.
Oh, I could hide. No, I'm not going to sing anymore. I came across a video online today of the Byrds reuniting in 2011, singing Mr. Tambourine Man, and they brought Bob Dylan on stage and he sang it with them.
Oh, really?
I had not seen that video. I was, I'm a big expert on the old music and, just.
I like it.
Well, listen, kid, I'm going to have to cut this broadcast off. We got your phone number on the screen. You're sweltering. I can see it.
I'm committed to you guys, though. You see, this is like we're parking lot style. Nobody ever tell me you can't make something happen. I'm glad we got some time together today, and I really appreciate everybody joining us. How cool that you guys are taking up time in your afternoon to hang out with us. It's much appreciated, my friend.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.